Bhutan, a country that not only tracks its GDP, but actually tracks the happiness index of all of its citizens, earning it the title, the happiest country in the world. A big part of this plays from the Dragon King. He is a young, charismatic ruler, just coronated a couple of years ago. He follows the tradition of Kidu, which is a sacred duty to care for one's people. You can appeal to him directly, and he will help and aid all of the citizens in any way possible. This could be from getting further education, medical treatments, or even gifting state land to landless farmers. His goal in his time leading has been to lead democracy to the country, giving more power and freedom to his people. When you say hello in Bhutan, it's Kazungpo, and if you want to add a little respect after you get to know someone a little more, you add a la at the end of that. If you do get that in return, shows that they like you. Bows are generally head down, palms forward and spread wide, although with the modernization of the country, you're starting to see handshaking become more common. You never use the last title and the last name when meeting someone. It's not like Dr. Some last name. It's going to be something along the lines like Mr. Devon for me. It's a little more informal of greetings, and everything else is just, it doesn't seem personal over there. In gesturing, you want to be careful not to point. You're going to use your hands to direct attention. You especially do not want to point to religious objects. It's also very important to pay attention to where your feet are pointing. You never want it to really be pointing at anyone or a religious object, especially if you're sleeping. So generally what ends up happening if you're in the middle of a social setting, you're going to cross your legs. The big part is that the crown of the head is considered a sacred part of your body. You are not wanting to touch anyone in the crown of the head, especially kids. It's considered extremely rude. Dining is a lot of fun. It's very much a social and a family event. You're generally sitting cross-legged and you're eating with your hands a really awesome spicy rice dish. The pepper that they have there is very, very involved in most of their cooking. It's all pretty common. Just wait for everyone to be served until you start eating. If you were being a guest, your host is going to ask you to eat first, and then the host will eat last. It's going to be vice versa if you were hosting to a group as well. Modern dating has really kind of changed since technology has slowly made its way in there. What you generally see for general dating here in the U.S. is very, very similar to where it is going on now. Marriage equality passed in 2017. The wedding ceremonies are extremely dipped in Buddhist tradition. They're actually gorgeous weddings, and if you see the royal family down here was a pretty large event. Gift giving is one of the very, very cool and beautiful parts of Bhutan, and once you see what they're going for, you see something that's very, very special there. You are giving small, very modest gifts from like your own country or something very nifty to someone, and it's generally a blind gift. It's never going to be opened in front of you. It's going to be opened in private, and the box is going to be returned to you with a gift. And the idea is to keep giving gifts back and forth. But what you see is that it's actually trying to build a cycle, so that way you're communicating with these people more often. You're building a relationship with them, and I think that's something that's very, very special. Business etiquette's very, very standard, very similar to what we do on a daily basis over here, except it's more liberal, but it's not as conservative as you see in a lot of more Asian cultures. So as long as you're maintaining respect for the cultural traditions and the religious traditions, you're going to be doing pretty fine. The big idea is to just speak softly in a moderate, reserved tone. And for what you're going to want to do is, rather than insisting in any negotiations, it's going to be a suggestion. And then by doing that, by suggesting alternate negotiations back and forth, you end up coming to what is a business agreement. When you take a look at their love for archery, their love for their clothing traditions, which they welcome us to dress just like them and would even show us how, you see that this country is really just nothing but joy, and it has earned itself the title of the happiest country in the world.